Let's call this meeting
Yeah.
to order.
Now that was
4:31.
Yeah.
Done with the Bears.
The important stuff is done.
Any considerations of any changes, additions, or removals to the agenda?
No.
No. Public comments? Anything? No. Okay. And we'll move on to the approval of minutes, March 26, 2026, regular meeting.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes for March 26th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Department managers report.
Yes, I'm here.
And you're already.
So, the report is relatively short, but lots of activities going on. We got the draft audit review. We're working with them to make some changes to the notes that they have just for accuracy, but it's fine. It's turning out fine, which is good. As part of that, or as part of a good process, which I will encourage you to do, I'd like to invite them to the May meeting. They'll be virtual, they won't physically come here, but to talk to you about what they saw. And then we'll do that together, but then, right, the best practice is for me and Michael to excuse ourselves and you guys do an executive session with them to hear about anything else they want to talk to you about, or you want to talk to them about, okay? But it's finally winding down and it looks like it's all fine. I don't see anything in there that is of issue at all.
So I won't be at that May meeting.
Yeah, that's right, you're not. Would you
but if you
prefer that
think-
we postpone it, or are you okay with going forward?
Let's see.
I know you said months ago that you weren't.
Yeah,
I know that.
Take a look here. I might be able to zoom in on that.
That's the other option, you could do that.
I'm gonna have to let you know about that. I'm not sure which day the funeral is. It's probably on the weekend.
Okay,
But I leave, I probably won't be able to zoom in. I leave on the 20th.
okay. Would you prefer we postpone that?
I mean, I can go through and read the minutes.
I don't think it's gonna be anything dramatic.
Yeah,
truthfully,
it's-
So,
yeah. I'll keep you posted on
Okay,
that.
very
But I don't think we need to postpone it.
okay. Still haven't received a final agreement from Okemo for the compressors, but they promised me it's in process. I know that I'm being taped, so I'm gonna be careful. Government is not always the slowest. I'm just gonna say that
Fair
and leave it there. Okay, and then we are also discussing whether to increase our capacity limit one more time. We've been doing 1.2 megawatts per year. I think we're at 18.9 right now, and we want to get to like 19 point something, so that there's no question that they can run without curtailment. So I'll do that if need be. That'll probably be toward the end of the year. That'll probably be midsummer that we do that. Something I didn't put in the report, which I probably should have, is we filed our rate case this week. It ended up being a 7.2% increase, not the 9 that you approved, and certainly not the 14 that we thought we were in for before. So that's moving forward. We're doing a public notice for that now. It'll go in this month's bills as well as on the website and other places. So we'll see how the department handles that. It seems pretty straightforward to me because the only costs that changed were the power costs. So it's like one line. We're not, there's nothing else to really justify different than last year. So just to let you know about that. I did get word that on the battery project at Okemo that Lightshift did, in theory, get a lease from them. I think it's pending in the same place the final agreement is for the compressors. which is somewhere in Colorado, but they're pretty confident that's going forward. On a kind of other note, I think a similar project might work well for Magris, so I'm connecting, I have connected them, and we'll be talking about that tomorrow. I have there's a monthly call between Magris and Efficiency Vermont, and I've been joining that recently, and I'll do that tomorrow as well, and we'll talk about this a little bit. The rate design stuff, particularly on the residential demand and moving that, has changed again based on DPS's comments to me. You'll recall originally I thought we could do a full rate design. I said, no, wait. Then they said we could do an innovative rate for this particular thing. And now they're saying, no, don't do an innovative rate, but do a regular rate application. But you can do it for this one or two rate changes that we want to make. So I have a call with them on Wednesday of next week. And at this point, because it's a standard rate design, rate application before the PUC and everything like that, I felt like I needed to involve EPSA. If it was the innovative rate, I could have done it myself, but I feel more comfortable having them involved, so they're gonna be on a call as well. And I'll let you know, but that's, the department is still supportive of us making a change. It just seems like they can't seem to find the process that they want us to use, but maybe we've now settled on it.
Is that because the AMI meters, we don't have a year's worth of?
That's why they didn't want us to do a full rate, complete rate redesign. But I think they recognize we have enough data from the AMI meters we've installed to support a documented change. We do have enough data. There are, along that line, there are 3,500 meters now installed of the 3,800 that we want to do. We ran out of meters of a particular type. Neither Brett nor I understand maybe why that happened. I think it was before both of our times that the order was placed, but it's short. And we've ordered those. They're supposed to be 4 to 6 weeks out. So we'll finish up this project when that occurs. But otherwise, things are working pretty well in the meter department. But we do have enough data, I think, to support the change that DPS is suggesting, and they are suggesting that we go right to a time of use demand rate. So it's consistent with what guidance you've given me. It's faster than I thought it was going to be, so we'll see how this proceeds. Replacement of the regulators at Howard Barton Jr. substation. Brett purchased those a couple of years ago. They've been sitting on the loading dock. And I've been trying to work with the department to figure out what kind of permitting is needed, because the substation was grandfathered. In other words, it existed before the 248 process existed. A lot of changes have been made, but they've been incremental, and to my knowledge, no permitting has ever been gotten for those. So I actually feared that we would be in for a full 248 certificate of public good process for the whole substation. But after negotiating back and forth, maybe it was just because they were sick of hearing from me, but we just decided, okay, no, just go do it. It's considered maintenance. They're considering it maintenance, even though the regulators are a little bigger. They acknowledge that that doesn't extend the capacity of the substation that much. So basically, they've authorized us just to proceed without any permitting. So that's what we're doing.
And they did that in writing.
They did, well, good point. I got it in writing from my attorney. And I don't really know what writing answer he got from the department, but I'm not sure I really care, because I got it in writing from my attorney, so I feel we're pretty supportive.
Do we I mean, is there any benefit to undertaking that?
The CPG process? Eventually, yes. I mean, ideally, you'd like to have all your facilities be fully permitted and up to
Yeah.
date.
Even though it's grandfathered, I just
Even
feel like
those that are
it seems like
grandfathered. So,
So there's no question the next time we need to do something.
right, so there
Or if
is,
we wanna upgrade it, or
Right.
maybe, you know.
there is value to doing that. And the good news is we can proceed with this project and we can
Yeah.
do that in a sane, like, logical time frame. But I agree with you, it would be best to have a certificate of public good for all our substations. We've got one for Smithville. Don't know about the other two, and I know we don't have one for Howard Point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, let's see what else. I did sign the Flatland Solar project that you all authorized me to enter into last month for the 20%. I signed that today after a dispute with VIPSA over the contract. We got that resolved to our favor, consistent with what I thought it needed to say, so I felt good about that and felt it was okay to sign for that.
So it's at a 20%.
It's at 20%.
Yeah.
It's at the price that we talked about, which I think was $114.70 a megawatt. And so, and again, most of the benefit from that is gonna be in the renewable energy credits that we
Right.
get, that will reduce our cost for having to buy those on the market. I think the last thing I have is just that, on the affordable energy, a community renewable energy project that we're working on, we put a bill insert in this month. We are advertising it on our website. We actually have 3 applicants, so only 76 more to go.
Well, yeah, we talked about that, and we'll watch to see how many applicants you get.
Right.
Now, did they come to Ludlow, or did they go to,
I believe, I asked this question of Terry, who told me this information. Did I bring it? I think I might have brought it with me.
because if they're just the ones that came here, it's
Right.
possible there are more than that.
So, I didn't bring the form with me that she said, but she said they went to VIPSA first,
Mhm.
which is where the application's supposed to go.
Yeah,
And then VIPSA notified her of these 3.
okay, all right.
So that's, I know, I don't know what originated their knowledge of the program.
Okay.
But-
So, but it doesn't end until the end of August.
Correct. People
So-
can apply until.
So
the end of
I'd say
August.
give it another month, and then we
Yeah.
can reach out in a
can-
different way.
That's
Yeah.
great.
So we did a mailer on that, right?
We did a mailer on it.
Is it on our website?
And it is on our website,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
Thank you. I know we wanted to put it on the website, I wasn't sure it got there yet, but it did. Thank you. So it's there. That's it for me. I already covered kind of what I knew Brett was interested in saying about, there are a couple of things going on. One, we're obviously gonna move forward with the installation of the regulators at Howard Barton. The meter thing has been going well. There's been a couple of hiccups in terms of the data retrieval of that, but it's not data lost, it's just data delayed, but we're fixing that. And as I said, 3,500 meters are installed in the 3,800 we're gonna be doing.
So you're kind of going over outside operations because he's not
I'm
here.
kind of doing that.
Okay,
I'm
all
kinda
right,
doing
so we're on number
Yeah.
6.
Oh, I'm
So, yeah.
sorry.
No, that's okay, I was just making sure.
Yep. And then there are a couple of projects going on that he's working on. The Dunkin' Donuts thing that you see under construction, they have upgraded their electrical demands, so there's gonna be additional transformers and other stuff he's doing with that. And at the mill,
Is there a delay because of that upgrade at Dunkin' Donuts?
yes, there
Can
will
you-
be. Well, they didn't realize they needed a service upgrade from 200 amps to 400 amps until a few days ago, well after they started the
Right.
deconstruction of the stuff. the likelihood it's not gonna delay their project, but it might delay the number of pieces of equipment they can turn on.
Okay,
Because we have to order the transformers, and there's like a 4 to 6 week delay in
Okay,
getting
all right,
those.
so it's not likely to delay their opening?
No, it won't delay
Okay.
their opening, your coffee just might be cold because.
No, I don't drink it, so.
I'm just saying,
But,
right.
Just because it's just causing
It
some
is, it
issues.
is causing, and the interesting thing is the other project that he has is right across the road at the mill. The final thing we have to do for FEMA is to put a new pole in and a new transformer for them. And we're coordinating that with them because they're also wanting to relocate or expand or deal with what I'm calling the bunker. I'm sure they don't call it that, sorry. It's a concrete block that's right on that corner. And I'm not sure how they're changing it, but Brett is coordinating with them to make sure that we know what they want to do before we put a pole in a place they don't want it. So that's kind of my operations update at the moment.
So we're upping their,
There's, we're upping the service at the Dunkin' Donuts to a higher amperage, to the 400 amps. We are already planning, yes, to update and upgrade the service to the mill as well. So I kind of think that's my report unless you guys have any questions.
Were you gonna update us on the electrical plugins for
Oh,
electric?
yeah, okay, I can do that. So it does seem like that, from a statutory standpoint, it does seem like the plug-in solar bill is getting a lot of support at the legislature. It's likely to pass, but it's also likely to have a lot of restrictions and testing that needs to be done before it can be implemented. They seem to be acknowledging that they don't really have a safe, understandable path for those. They like the idea, but I think they're assigning the Department of Public Service to investigate how to certify these things and how to make sure they're safe before they go in. So I think you won't see any of these going into place probably for another year, but it is likely they're gonna pass the bill supporting them.
will they provide training?
Sorry, which
Will they provide training?
training to
Like,
us
Yeah.
or to? I don't think so, and I don't know that that will be necessary. What's really necessary for us is to understand that there's a safety control that when the power goes out, if somebody needs to work on your house or do something there, that there's not a backflow of power coming in from these solar. The reason that the typical solar projects work through the Public Utility Commission is that they're required, one, to get a certificate of public good. They have interceptor shutoffs, and it's very clear that the utility has the right to shut those off if they're working in the area and want to make sure that they're safe. This idea of just plugging something into your 1 to 10 outlet and having power feed back into the system is new, and that's where that's going to require some additional work. And I guess this started in Europe and is functional in Europe, but their electrical systems are somewhat different than ours. And that's why I think the legislature is asking that there be an investigation, a review, and recommendations, and probably rules around this, all of which are going to take the better part of a year to do.
Jean, did you have a question?
No, I just, maybe I didn't ask the question correctly, but the chargers, that there's a grant out there for,
Oh, the EV charge.
yes.
Oh, we're going to get to that on the agenda, but it looks
Oh,
like.
that's okay,
Yeah,
that's
but it
fine.
actually looks like that's going forward. And I
Okay.
talked with Penny and we'll get,
That's
to
fine.
that.
Okay,
But that looks like it's prepared to move forward.
okay,
Anything about the, just because I've seen on that email that, weren't you gonna meet with a forester on the ash tree?
Yes, I did.
How'd that go?
I did. It went well. It does not have emerald ash borer yet. Yeah, it's a beautiful tree.
Yeah.
And I think it is a record, but for some reason I can't seem to get an answer back from the state as to whether it is or not. But it did have, there was a new damage along an area where woodpeckers were chewing into the tree that was new this spring, was not there last fall. And it's under a branch that was cut off, and then some rot underneath. And we determined that the woodpeckers were actually after ants that were in the tree, not an emerald ash borer. So that's good. And I have a treatment plan that has been proposed to me from them. It's like $900 for 2 years to do this, and I'm trying to connect with the tree folks in town because they evidently have money to support stuff like that.
That board.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Howard. Phil was on vacation last week. I expect to hear from him again, next week, and we'll get together and
Yeah.
talk. But
Yeah, they get back, I think tomorrow
okay,
or Saturday.
great. I won't
Yeah.
call him on Saturday to find out. But I think,
It's not- We just met, so
Yeah.
we've got
There
plenty
you
of
go.
time.
But I think I'll present that proposal to them and see if they can help. Otherwise, it's on our property. It's a nice tree. We should
Yeah.
probably deal with it, but we'll figure it out. But I do have the proposal, and that's a preventative thing to do the injection. And it lasts 2 years, so you could expect that going forward, every 2 years or so, you have.
As far as we're concerned, it's the biggest ash in the state, right?
That's my knowledge.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
certify that as a board.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
let's certify that.
Write
as
that resolution, yeah.
I will tell you, it has not been treated that well over the years in terms of looking at the trimming and yeah, it's been like, if a branch is sticking out over something, somebody cut it off at one
Right.
point. I don't know why, but it's hanging in there, it's still fine.
Fair enough.
And I saw that the boys were out doing tree trimming
Good,
last
Okay.
week.
Yep. Cool.
Can I ask, maybe more a question for Brett, but, total, you said 3,800? We've installed 35, we're planning to install
Yeah, about
38.
3,800.
What is our total?
So our customers versus meters, this is an interesting,
Yeah,
right?
I remember this.
So, I think we're in the 3,700, 3,750 customer level. The number of meters exceeds that because a lot of customers have more than one meter.
Yep.
And there are different controls, but I think the total number of meters we're gonna have is 3,807, as I understand it to be right now.
All right. I guess I'm curious. I know that there were some meters and some boxes that were too old to direct replace with the AMI.
Right.
As we're talking about new meters and a new rate design that's based around the capacity and ability of those meters, I'm curious what our population of meters that can't give us that extra data is, and
Yeah.
how we deal with them with a new rate that's based around.
I can't answer that right now.
All right.
I think that is a Brett question, and I think my understanding is that they have had to replace some sockets to support the new
Yeah.
meters.
Yeah,
That the homeowners have been notified about that, and the electricians do that, and then we replace the meters. I haven't heard of any obstacles in that, but I know there are some. I don't think there are all that many.
yeah,
I'm gonna say probably less than 20
yeah. That's what I remember
fall
from
into
our.
that category.
Yeah.
But I don't know the status of them all at the moment. I do know we've been holding off on doing the last things that we are planning on doing the meter change out on are the solar net metering, because it's more complicated, and then also snowmaking. at Okemo, which is a bunch of meters that are much more complicated, different, and a different type of meter.
Yeah, and that's, unused now.
Right.
Just
right.
makes more sense to
We
me.
got some time.
Yeah.
Once Okemo signs, how long are we looking at before switching
They
them
do it.
over?
They're still trying to, as far as I know, they certainly have ordered the equipment that we've told them they need, so that they paid for it, they're moving forward. Their plan is to have it installed before the end of the third quarter of this year,
Okay.
August, September, so it's ready
For
to
next,
go
for next
this
season?
snow.
Okay, great.
Jeez, that'll be a big change.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is.
it will be a
It's-
big change.
We'll all hear that. I mean, you'll hear that.
I'll hear it, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you think it's gonna be louder?
No, I think it'll be a lot quieter.
I think it'll
Yeah.
be quieter.
I
That's
think
what I
it'll be
was
ridiculously quieter. I'm
Yeah.
curious,
A
I'm
lot
just curious.
quieter.
It
that
shouldn't
truck's
be
position.
noisy at all, yeah, it will be much quieter.
And they can still use their same snow guns and
Yeah.
all,
And
everything.
actually, this is kind of combined with a replacement of almost all of the snow guns to be more efficient as well.
Good.
So it was kind of a twofold project. Efficiency Vermont is supporting the snow guns.
Yeah.
We're supporting the compressors.
And that's really going to be a big jump in what they use
It
electricity.
will be, which is another topic that we should probably talk about. So, I've looked at our financials. It'll get better, but right now we're behind even for this year in terms of actual expenditures compared to budget. Next month I'll have for you, I'm gonna do this more regularly, where I have a summary of what our budget was, what we should have spent year to date under the budget, and what we actually spent in the variance, so you get to see that on a
Okay.
regular basis.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Right now, I'll just say, it's off, but I can already say that it's down like 250,000 for January and February. March is already up like 108,000, so it's gonna shift around, but we'll be able to present you with a clearer picture and better information so you can see that, but, how did I get on that topic? I think it was just that, I want to get you I want you to know all through the year how we're doing. And
Yeah.
right now, you're just kind of
Right.
getting my reports.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd
that's-
be great, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be useful this year, it'll be more useful next year, right?
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
This data probably was not presented to this board, I mean, it hasn't been presented to this board since I've been on it. And there are, I'm sure, months that we're down and
Yeah.
months that we're up, and
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
track level
Yeah.
all through the year anyways.
So you mean you weren't just happy to get a budget, you actually want to see how it plays
How it's
out?
working.
I thought we would get
How
there
it's
eventually.
working for all of us,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, moving on, discussions and action on payment in lieu of taxes, pilot to the village.
Yes, so we put this on the agenda because we realized that normally we do this every year, and it's this time of year we do it. So it is, I didn't put the dollar amount here, I meant to do
I
that.
have.
Do you have the
Yeah.
dollar amount? Thank you,
$26,104.70.
thank you.
I saw that someplace, I
I
think
did
it's in
put
your
it, I think I
report.
put it in somewhere, but I
In
don't
your
think it was-
report,
Was
I
it in the
think.
report?
It's in the email,
Or
the
in an email?
updated agenda.
Or maybe
Thank
you
you.
added
I
it,
might have added.
I did read
But
it though.
good, that number is a little odd number. It's something you've been paying for years.
Mhm.
The village has never asked for an increase. We've never offered to increase it. So I guess what I'm looking for is a motion to continue to make that payment at that amount. 26,107,
104.
104.70. Thank you.
I'll make the motion to
Thank
approve
you, Jean.
26,104.70.
Perfect.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
That motion is passed. I do have a question. Did you look into?
I did, and apparently it's a thing.
It's a
Wait,
thing.
can we actually get a subject matter? I know you two are
All right,
clairvoyant.
just shorthand, yeah.
What is the topic? What's the
Because the village, did you find out about the village taxes
Yes,
versus
so
the town
The
taxes?
village and the town taxes, they are separate, and all village residents have to pay village and town taxes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
Okay, it's a
Yes.
thing, all right,
But we only pay the village.
No.
we only pay the village in lieu of, the payment in lieu of taxes. We pay actual taxes
To the
to the town.
Right. And-
Which will
okay,
change,
so yes.
which will change next year, but this is where that
That's
question
hilarious.
comes from. It's like, are we paying both? Yeah. kind
Everybody
of
does,
are.
yeah.
And then what happens next year, we probably have to renegotiate
With a merger.
a full, with the merger, a full payment in lieu of taxes.
Yeah.
Revisit.
And there will be a new assessments and new-
Yes.
Yeah,
all
and
these things.
We did get our new assessments,
Oh,
which are,
yes, projected new assessments.
and of course, that's
I
only
watched
one
the
of the
meeting,
two
yeah.
shoes. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what the assessment is until you find out what the mill rate is that's associated with the assessment, and we don't know that yet, but.
Yeah, and what the grand list is overall.
But,
and
but
how that
our
changes.
properties,
And that won't be until after our grievance process and all that,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
what I can say is from the assessments that we got for our properties, which includes the substation, the office, the shop, they went up substantially.
What percent?
80%
80%, okay.
on average, I would say.
Okay,
And,
because 60%.
60 is
Was that-
baseline, right?
Right,
yeah,
Okay.
kind of.
So it's a little over.
no, that's,
Yeah,
I'll say the substations were a little less. They probably went up 50%. Probably because nobody looks at the substation and says, yeah, that,
right.
Nobody knows what, yeah.
what, right.
Yeah.
So, but the office and the shop went up at least by that.
So we pay just in lieu of taxes, one
Payment,
payment for all of everything we own.
all the village properties, yes,
But then the shop is town,
yes.
yes.
so we're paying a separate tax bill to them, or?
We pay a separate
So
tax bill
we
to
pay-
Ludlow.
So we have 4 separate tax bills that we pay for the town. One is for the shop, one is for the poles, one is for the substations, and one is for the office.
But the office is village and the shop is town.
Correct.
but
And
it-
then
And then we pay the in lieu of taxes for basically for the
It's
office
for the
and
office.
the Commonwealth substation is what the in lieu of payments is for.
Is the village, yeah.
We have an
Okay.
assessed value on our poles that we pay to the town.
the state decides a value for those, and we pay based on that. And that's really an education tax question.
Do we
Yeah,
pay
Which we're still,
Proctorsville and Cavendish for the same thing?
Yes, no, yes, we do. We have separate tax bills for Cavendish and Proctorsville that we pay.
Yep.
how does TDS and other folks that use the?
Yeah, so TDS owns 50% of almost all of our polls. There are some exceptions, and so they pay their share and we pay our share.
And they pay their share to us, or they
To the
separate?
state directly.
Separate,
Yeah,
okay.
Separate.
they
That
bill it
makes
separately,
sense.
okay, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, so that's taxes.
Okay. So that motion passed. Number 8, discussions and action on the EV chargers at 9 Pond Street, previously tabled.
Great. I would ask that you bring this back up for discussion if you are willing. So I think the proper thing to do is a motion to bring that back.
Revisit.
So you need a
But we don't have to untable it, do we?
That's what I'm thinking, but actually, because it's on the agenda, maybe we don't.
Yeah, I don't think you do.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
just
think-
comes up as a new agenda.
Okay, very good.
Those
So
discussions,
you
yeah.
will recall that this has been pending back and forth a little bit. We have a good proposal to do a one post, two charger station at 9 Pond Street as part of a municipal grant. The reason this was tabled before was because hadn't really gotten a chance, or Penny had not really gotten a chance to assess what's the cost to the town, are we willing to actually do this? I have now talked with her, and in your packet, under materials, you should see a sheet like this. Your meeting materials.
Number 8.
No, I think, we get,
Oh,
we
yeah,
have to
it's
remove.
all in the first,
It's all in the first section.
Oh, okay.
Right behind there.
sorry.
Yeah, no,
We
no.
have to remove all those little tags, because that was
It
necessary.
was the first time I did the books.
Fair enough. So anyway, you're looking for this, which should be right after the
Yep.
agenda. And what this shows is that the total project is about $20,000, $21,000. The grant will pay for $17,500 roughly. Town has agreed to pay for the match, which is $15,999.97. You see that in green on that chart. And the town has also agreed that they will pay for the warranty years, the extended warranty per year for 3-year warranty, and then they will pay an annual cost to run the network of about $400 a year. We're agreeing to, my proposal is that we agree to pay for the EV Connect network of the 2564 that's shown on the right. These are costs that are disallowed from the grant, which is why somebody needs to pick them up. And the reason I think that it's worth us picking that up is that my expectation is this network provides us the ability to charge different people different amounts. So you could have, the original thing, that the reason this started was for employees of the town to be able to have a place to charge cars. Couldn't fit them here, so that's why they asked us to do them there. So I could picture the employees getting charged our base rate of what it costs us to provide electricity. I don't know if originally when this was thought of, they thought they were gonna get it for free or whatever, but I can't give
No.
electricity away, so they'll get charged the regular rate. Other people, you may wish to put that at a somewhat higher level. For example, right now we charge about 14.5 cents a kilowatt hour. Most places that have chargers are charging between 30 and 75 cents a kilowatt hour. So they're making a profit on that. Of course, they have to pay for the equipment, the machine and stuff, but there is value, I think, to Ludlow Electric to put this in, to establish a rate that helps us recoup our costs a little bit, but not necessarily that. The 75 cents is what somebody out there is calculating what the price of gas is and trying to just come below that to make it still worthwhile to have an electric vehicle,
Yeah.
but they're making more money from that. So anyway, this gives us some flexibility, but it does, because it's a grant, it does need to be a public station and available. We would sign it and probably put like a 2 to 3 hour limit on the amount of time that you could be there, because that's the other issue. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because of going into an on-demand situation, or?
No, I think if we have a public station, you're gonna have to recognize that people are gonna be probably charging during the day, which is not when you normally would want them to charge a car. But you also want them to just get the amount of power they need to get from here to wherever it is they're going, not to charge, like not to sit there overnight or to charge on a full basis. So I think there does need to be a time limit. And I think the pricing needs to be such that it's something they do because they need to, not because it's like, wow, it's a free place to go. Or
Right. Now, as far as like zoning goes with that, I mean, that's adding, it's two more parking spots.
It's using 2 of our parking spots.
It's, okay, so
Using two, yeah.
it's using two, we're not having
We're
to
not adding.
adjust any, where is it gonna be
No.
on, in the back parking lot
There-
on the left or right?
There's some adjustment. I think in talking to Brett, right now, do you know where the handicap spot is?
Yes.
It's on the far left.
Yeah.
We're thinking of moving that over 2 spaces so that it's actually closer to the entryway of the door and using the left 2 spots for the EV charging. The lines do need to be repainted anyway because
Mhm.
what we have found is they're almost narrower than the cars are
Yeah,
as we
yeah,
pull.
they-
So
they are.
it's an interesting thing
Yeah.
to park there. But I think I don't think I'll have to check into this. If there's a zoning requirement about the number of parking spaces you have for a given
There is,
footprint,
I think there
there
is, yeah.
is. I gotta believe we have more parking spaces than that, 'cause we're not a retail organization.
Or even if you put 2 along the side of the
You
building,
might be able to do that too.
you might be able to do that.
We'll
Check with the
have-
zoning
we'll-
office though, because I know with like restaurants especially,
Yeah,
there
yeah, we
has
have
to
a lot of
be-
people come and go and seating, things like
Right,
that.
right, yeah.
Understood, so I will check that. And at some point, we'll have to mark
Yeah.
the spots.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
all right, but anyway, Penny is amenable to this. She's gonna
Okay.
bring it to the trustees' May 5th meeting. She expects that it'll be supported, she supports it. So at this point, I'm looking for your support so we can move forward.
What happens at the end of the grant? Then who assumes the responsibility or the
We
cost
own,
to maintain?
Ludlow Electric will own the equipment. The town has agreed to pay up to $400 a year to pay for ongoing licensing and maintain it.
Regardless of how long the grant lasts for? I mean,
Yes.
how long
So the
is
grant
that?
is for 3 years.
Yeah,
It's interesting, the grant is for 3 years, but they require you to keep it up and operational for 5.
okay.
And that's why, so there's a warranty for 2 years. It's why the additional 3-year warranty is being asked for, so we can get to 5 years.
I just know another town or a couple other towns that had a problem with them and then it became expensive to repair
Yeah,
and to keep them
yes.
going. I just don't,
I don't, yeah.
I guess we'll have to just watch.
I
that.
think we might have to, I mean, not that this is a desired result, but at the end of the day, if it's not working, you can pull it after 5 years, right?
yeah.
But that's not our goal.
Right,
Right.
but
But I think
Just
best
watch
estimates
that.
are that the ongoing licensing and maintenance contract is gonna be about $400 a year after the warranty is gone.
Mhm.
So right now, it's a little more expensive to extend the warranty.
so if you're an employee, how do you pay a different rate? You have a card?
Right. I think you have a card or a
Okay.
number.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, they have
Put it-
accounts,
so,
generally have
okay.
I'm not
accounts.
sure which it is, but there will be
Okay,
different
that's all right.
accounts, yes, that enable you to,
Get a
Get a
different
different
rate than
rate.
someone else might,
Yes.
okay.
And aside from employees, everyone else will be the same rate.
I think, yes,
Yeah,
everyone else
okay.
would be the same rate, whatever that
Yeah.
should be. And it should be payable through either an app on the phone or directly by credit card, like just holding it up.
Well,
To be decided, I think, but
Is the, I mean, I know you have the 532 circled that the
Yeah.
town, as the town paid, but wouldn't the town be paying the 1065?
hang on a second. It's per year for, so, yeah, so the grant is willing to pay for for 532, you're right. What I should have done is the town's gonna pay the 1065 over 2 years.
Yeah, oh, all right,
Okay,
that makes sense.
so I'm sorry about that.
And then we pay the
Yes.
25, and then the town, yeah, and then the town pays the out of pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I think the rate, sounds like that's what you're getting at too, but I would think that the rate that we charge would be based on just, yeah, this 25,000, however long we expect the service life to be.
Yeah, and we have no idea what the usage is gonna be.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's impossible to know.
so, but I think generally, the
Yeah.
goal would be to make sure we're getting paid for the electricity and some sort of recovering costs over time for those using the station.
Yeah, somewhere around, yeah.
And do we know if Sunoco's going forward with theirs?
They are not.
Okay.
And I think the reason that they're not is that they don't actually own the land, turns out.
Oh,
And the Tesla thing that was being offered to them, which was all expenses paid, installed, ready to go, and they still said no. And I think because it was a 15-year commitment for them, and they don't own the land. So I think it made it more complicated. I did reach out to Shaw's to see if they're interested. Haven't heard back from them, but they do own the land. I confirmed that. So Shaw's might be the right place to put.
Don't want to put anything in the flood zone.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
well,
Is all
At
of
the
Shaw's
top?
in the flood
no,
zone?
I think the
It's 4
top,
feet deep.
I
The
think
water
the
is
top part isn't, is it?
It's all, I don't know, the water is 4 feet deep in that whole
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
But they also, the place that closest to 103, the lots there, they use for snow. They
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
use snow
Yeah.
disposal, so they might not be interested for
Or
different reasons.
Benson's maybe,
Where?
Benson's.
They already have.
Benson's has one?
Oh, they do?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they have
they-
Oh,
2
okay.
fast chargers,
They do.
Yeah,
2 level 3s.
So if there are other places in town, I'm talking to Penny about any town-owned land that they have, but there's limited stuff that they could commit to, but
Yeah.
if you have other ideas, I'll be happy to let them know,
the
'cause
Shell station.
maybe.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Do you need a motion or
Oh,
is
yes,
that-
indeed.
okay.
If you are supportive of us moving forward with this, yes, please.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to move forward with the EV chargers on 9 Pond Street.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion
Thank you,
passed.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for writing this down.
Yeah.
Oh, it was nothing.
Just
6 months.
Part of the daily routine.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. All right.
Okay, moving number 9, discussions and action on capitalization policy.
Yep, so here we discovered that there are thresholds that you should have for when you buy equipment, when you decide to capitalize and when you decide to expense them. During this audit, it came up that we actually didn't have an official policy. We had an informal policy, but it felt like we should have a formal policy. And there are different things that trigger different amortization and depreciation levels based on what they are. What we have proposed to you is a capitalization policy with a threshold from $2,500 for office equipment, computers, other things, up to as much as $10,000 if there's a building capitalization. Oh, by the way, the auditors did ask that we capitalize the office improvements that we made last year. We didn't feel like they extended the useful life of the building, so we had put them in as just a regular asset, not depreciable, but they asked us to do the opposite, so we did. But that is driving some of this too, to say, okay, let's have a policy that tells us when we need to capitalize them. You know, can change this at any time, but this is our suggestion for doing this, and it would be nice to have something in place so that it guides our policies, our actions going forward.
Makes sense to me.
Does to me, certainly,
yeah.
I defer to you on the years, I don't
Yeah.
know.
if you're recommending it.
I am recommending it.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
the years make sense to me.
Yeah, if that makes sense
What
to
they
you
are.
guys, then
Yeah,
I
and the
will.
more policies, the better, right?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Oh, yeah, having a, do you need a motion on this?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we adopt the capitalization policy.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed on the capitalization policy.
Thank you.
Number 10, continuing discussions of rate design and tariffs, DPS update.
Yep, I think I may have covered this already enough in our, in my management report. Nothing really to report until we have a meeting next Wednesday. I just will say that, they're switching courses on me multiple times.
Right.
And I'll just let you know, but they are still positive about the idea of trying to make changes quickly. I use quickly in quotes, for the demand rates to try and make changes to that. So I think they're still supportive. I think they've been struggling with what the right path is, and I think next Wednesday we'll have a discussion and figure out where that goes. So
Okay.
that's really all I have to report on that.
And is that the PUC or the?
It's right now
It's
the
abs-
Department of Public Service,
Yeah.
so that we can get on the same page before we present something to the PUC. 'Cause I
Okay.
don't wanna present something to the PUC that the department isn't
Hasn't,
supportive
yep.
of, and I don't wanna, if we do it together, it'll be a lot smoother.
Okay. Okay. All right, so that was just discussions, we don't need to make a motion. All right, now 11, we will be entering an executive session regarding personnel.
Yep.
Is there?
I'll make
that
the motion.
Yeah, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I will now be entering executive session. If we could turn off the TV and ask everyone to leave.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming again.
Thanks.
I appreciate it.
See ya.
Take care.
Nice to see you guys.